This is wonderful. This is amazing. Just watch the clips of how President Zelensky of Ukraine was kicked out of the Oval Office. But I will be making some explanations to what happened along the line. Enjoy it. Today was a tough day for Ukrainian President Zelensky at the Oval Office in the US. I want you to listen to the conversation he was having with President Trump and the Vice President J.D. Vance. I want you to watch this conversation.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not.
So during the heated argument, Trump was not telling him that without the US, that Ukraine is nobody. There's nothing he can do about it. That the war would have ended within 2 weeks, if not the involvement of the US. That was what Trump is saying. Now listen to Trump's conversation with Zelensky.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
Remember
you're
this.
doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling with the
president
lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you?
So you can see the attitude of President Zelensky to the US. Without the US, I don't think Zelensky would have sustained that war for more than 2 weeks. So Trump is not telling him that he's very disrespectful to the US people, that he could come to the Oval Office and was not showing any sign to sign a deal and to stop the killings of his people. This was the man that led Ukraine to war over joining NATO. And he knows quite well that joining NATO will bring war. He continued to pursue something that was not possible. And today, millions of lives have been wasted in Ukraine. Even though Russia has also lost many people, but Ukraine has been demolished as a country. Watch this conversation again, where Trump was telling him that without US, that is nobody. What the conversation?
Is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect
you.
to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, We are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there,
thank you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very
I understand.
important.
So this is the reason you have to be a man of your words. For you to go into war with a world power like Russia is to commit suicide before the war started. Why should you go into war over a simple situation that you should not join NATO? He went ahead because some of the European countries applauded him, pushed him into war, and today he's not joining NATO. He has lost some lands in the Ukraine. Most of the breakaway regions have had their referenda and joined Russia, so he has lost more than he has gained. Now he has lost some lands in Ukraine. He has lost many soldiers. The civilians have been displaced. He is nobody anymore in the Committee of Nations. Well, most of the cities have been demolished because of the war, and if he's not taken, this is gonna lead to World War III. This is what Trump is saying. I want you to listen to the rest of the conversations, and I'll come back and make my conclusion.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
So if Zelensky had maintained the normal diplomatic levels between Russia and Ukraine, this war wouldn't have started. Remember, Ukraine was part of the defunct USSR, and Russia says we do not want NATO at their doorstep. That's what Russians were saying. They don't want anything. Excuse me.
A guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if
if
Russia
Putin
breaks the
breaks
ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken the
What if they
ceasefire
broke it?
many
I don't know. They broke it with Biden, because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what-
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, Oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right.
They don't want any NATO country to come near Ukraine. So they told them, do not join NATO. Let's live side by side in peace. Ukraine refused and insisted that he must join NATO. And that was the reason the war started. But Russia is calling it a military operation. Now, Ukraine has been devastated. Most of their major cities that had stayed for 1,000 years, beautiful place, beautiful people, everything has been demolished. Everything has been devastated. It will cost Ukraine almost $600 billion to reconstruct and recover from the war-torn country. And he came to the US to sign a mineral deal so that US can be side by side with Ukraine to develop and mine those minerals, and as a way to pay US back its money, because European countries have been taking their money since the inception of the war, but US has not been taking its money back. So Trump says that we have to sign a deal so that we can recoup the money we have spent already in Ukraine. At the same time, be a peacekeeping force in your country. The man is proving stubborn. And today, Trump, based on the altercation they were having in the White Office, alongst JD Vance, he was kicked out of the White House. And Trump told him, you can come back anytime you're ready for peace. This is the full coverage of what happened today at the Oval Office between President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine. Thank you, and have a good day.